Well, good morning, DirtFish Rally friends, and welcome to the first morning of the Croatian Rally. As you can see, our championship leader, first on the road, Colin, just leaving service, heading into refuel, then out onto the stages. Listen, we have a fantastically exciting day ahead of us today. Brand new rally, brand new stages. What can we expect out there? Well, today's loop is 4 stages, 50 kilometers, just over 30 miles in the loop. 60 miles, 100 kilometers total. They are challenging stages with very different characteristics, but David Evans, the first stage of the morning, really could almost be the most interesting stage.
Well, certainly it is going to be, they're all going to be interesting stages, Colin. Can you remember what that first stage is called?
Oh yeah, it's
Rude.
called Rude. It could be a rude awakening.
It is going to be a very rude awakening. If you look at their gas, it's not too dissimilar. It's probably a little bit more broken, the concrete, off the start line. But then after that, very quickly, they go onto that really shiny black tarmac. They go through a village, through a couple of hairpins, which will be so spectacular, and then out of the village onto that black tarmac, that shiny black tarmac. We've all seen the pictures now with the white gravel across the road. It is going to be so difficult in a couple of those long left-handers to really know, particularly as you get down to sort of car 4 or 5, the road will be covered.
Yeah, that new section of road, it's 1.5 kilometers, brand new shiny tarmac, really well constructed on a base of hardcore. The hardcore goes beyond the limits of the road. That's where the cuts are. It is so messy already. Other thing I didn't mention was the weather conditions. David, you get a little bit of moisture onto that black tar, and it becomes absolutely like ice. Now, look at this. Have a look up here, guys, through the trees. Absolutely beautiful morning.
But Cole, don't forget, when we went out onto the stages, we left it exactly like this.
He doesn't let me finish my points.
Up the road, and it was pouring with rain. And then last night, all around here, you could see the rain coming.
Correct.
But it never arrived here. But it was certainly in the hills on all of the stages. And then second stage, that's the one I think that if there's a tyre strategy for this morning, it's got to come in for that second stage. The longest one, 14 miles long. And
24 kilometers.
24 kilometers. What do you think they're going to do with tyres?
Well, there's very little choice. David gave you a half weather report there, which I was about to give you before he extremely rudely interrupted me. Yeah, blue skies above us. Last night we had a heck of a storm. It was quite spectacular. We were on floor 10 of one of the hotels here, and we watched the storm coming in across the town. It'll be wet. It's quite chilly, David. It's round about 8 or 9 degrees. You've got to go with the softest option you've got out there, surely. And it must be 6 tyres, because there's a lot of jeopardy out there. There's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of sharp edges. What do you reckon?
I would go, first loop, I would go with 6 soft. Do you think, can we just have a quick wander up to Thierry's car and just have a quick look at a tyre?
Let's just watch from a distance.
Shall I just go and no?
Do you know what I like about these cars? I like the tarmac spec. They are so aggressive, super aggressive in tarmac spec. David just checking the tyres, obviously. What do we know? Can you tell from that?
It's definitely a Pirelli, but they've covered them over, so we can't see. But we will, of course, let you know exactly what tyres are on. But I think you're right. My only question would be, do you really take 6?
I think you have to, David.
It's only 30 miles.
I think you have to. I think here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. There are lots of cuts out there. There are lots of sharp, broken edges. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is a bit of a gamble taking 5. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I don't know.
And the other issue is they're taking 24 tyres. They've only got 20 softs for the whole event.
Yeah.
And if this weather stays like this, it's not going to get that much hotter this afternoon, is it?
It'll warm up. It warmed up nicely yesterday. We're around about 12 degrees. It'll warm up to somewhere around about 20 or so degrees as the day progresses.
Does that bring the hard into that window?
No, I really don't think so. I really think that hards may be used if we have a tyre situation where someone is running out of tyres, David. I think the hard tyres are put aside for this rally.
I agree.
I really do.
Absolutely.
Let's talk very quickly, David, about road position. We've seen Rovanperä heading to the stage. Obviously, Thierry Neuville second on the roads. It is going to play into the hands of Rovanperä, that first on the road today. I think there's no question about that.
And then you go into the second and the last stage where they're under the trees. There's a lot of mud on the road already. It's really going to work for them in there. That's where Kelly has to get the car right off the road.
Yeah.
But like you say, every time you go off the road, you are risking the puncture.
Yeah.
Every car that follows then, if you're not in that same cut, you're off the road.
You're off the
Because
road.
if you're onto the loose, you're away.
And here's the thing, it is so narrow in places. You make the slightest mistake, you do get a back end out, that back end's going to touch something. It is so difficult out there this morning. It's going to be a fascinating day, folks. David's one more point from David.
Just before we go, worth pointing out, shakedown times yesterday, great effort from Elvin Evans. We saw some really different times there, didn't we? I mean, you look, Elvin was 7/10 quicker than Thierry, Kelly 1.3, but then go all the way down. Craig Breen 6.5 seconds. So we spoke to Craig, and it was a tyre issue. He was running the hard tyre. So, you know, his times were of no real consequence. And then on his third run, Hiroki Arai had crashed in front of him. So, yeah, I think even into shakedown, there's a tyre strategy playing out here.
There's my favourite for the event. I think this event will favour the drivers with experience. It will favour the drivers that have made the best notes. So, folks, that's our top 3 cars heading out into the opening stage of the day. 100 kilometres, 60 miles of some of the most challenging roads we've seen in the WRC for a long time. Stick with us at dirtfish.com for all the news as it breaks from the opening day of
Rally Croatia.
Rally Croatia.